Mr. Siegel from Florida, David Siegel, father of Victoria, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having us. My remarks are going to be a little different from what you heard here. I have my wife, Jackie, Victoria's mother, with us, and I'm happy that this group has been put together. But what I'm unhappy about is there's 14 empty seats up there. How urgent is this to Congress if there's only 3 people here instead of 17 that could be here? What other business does Congress have that's more important than hundreds and thousands of lives being lost every year? Her 129 will be 150 today. That was 2014 numbers. This is growing 10% a year. We will lose 50,000 beautiful children this year to this epidemic. Our future generation, our future Bill Gates, our future Steve Jobs. Music you're never going to hear. Stories you're never going to read. Movies you'll never see. We're losing a whole generation of people, and it's nice that we all came together and we're going to show you our pictures of our children, and everybody's going to say they're sorry for us, but there's no action. There's no call to action, and that's what we're looking for. And today 150 are going to die. More than the Paris terrorist attack. You won't see it in the newspapers. You won't see it on TV. The president's not going to make a speech about it. No one's going to come out and talk about it. But those deaths can be prevented. There is a miracle drug out there called naloxone that less than 1% of the population even knows about. And the drug that's out there, the drug companies that make it are gouging the public. It costs 60 cents worth of naloxone to save a life. 60 cents. The cheapest you can get it in a nasal spray is $37.50, and you have to buy 2 at a time, or $75. The police departments can't afford it. The first responders can't afford it. Every first responder, every policeman, every fireman should have it. Every dormitory should have it. Every medicine cabinet in the country should have it. Every addict should carry it in their pocket. You know, people with heart problems, they carry nitroglycerin. People with diabetes carry insulin. People with food allergies carry EpiPens. But no addict carries naloxone. Most of the deaths that are represented in this room could have been prevented if a naloxone was available. But either because of the price of it or because no one knows about it, I don't see the government doing public service announcements on naloxone. I don't see the drug companies talking about it. I see them talking about every opioid under the sun, and now they're even saying if your opioid makes you constipated, here's another opioid that'll solve that. There's no cry. There's no cry. This is the worst thing that's happening in this country today. We're under attack, and it's not by ISIS, and it's not by Iran, and it's not by North Korea. It's internal. This could become the fall of the Roman Empire if we continue this. Today it's 50,000. Next year it'll be 55,000. How many is enough? And when is somebody going to get out there and start doing something about it? I keep hearing about money isn't appropriated. Bills in Congress right now, they've been in there for months because I've been up here lobbying for them, and they're still in Congress. And the Senate passed a bill, but Congress wants to make their changes. People are dying by the minute, and no one is crying out, doing anything about it. It's time that it happens. The worst phone call you can ever receive is a phone call like I received when my daughter died. And since then, it was a wake-up call for me. I had no idea. I didn't even know what marijuana looked like. I had no idea what was going on in the country. But I decided, I have a large company. I turned it over to my executives, and I decided that the rest of my life will be dedicated to saving lives. And I've traveled this country. I've met with your your Surgeon General, Vivek Murthy. I've met with the Director of the DEA. I've visited rehabs all across the country. I've talked to experts. In 11 months since my daughter died, I've earned a PhD in drug education. And what it's taught me is how little it's being done, how few people know anything about this epidemic. It's not an epidemic, it's a pandemic. And if there was a nuclear rocket coming from North Korea right now, everybody would be mobilized to do something about it. This is worse. This is worse. We have a 9/11 incident every 3 weeks in the drug world. Nobody's crying out about it. I don't hear any outcry. We gotta get things done, not a week from now or a month from now. We have to get it done now. People have to get motivated. We have to not only keep people alive, but we got to stop this epidemic. It's one thing to service it, but let's stop. Every rehab I went to, and I sat in on dozens of addicts telling their life story. Every single one, without exception, started experimenting with marijuana when they were 14, 15 years old. And they say it's not a gateway drug. Believe me, it's definitely a gateway drug. And yet, there's laws against marijuana, but Congress is letting states legalize it when there's a national law against it. Florida is now trying to legalize medical marijuana. Yes, it'll help a few people, but when you start telling kids, when kids see legalized marijuana, you try to tell them not to use it. That's where it starts. We got 25 million drug addicts in this country today. We have 25 million former addicts that are in recovery. 50 million people with their parents. That's half of our population. Why isn't there some public outcry? We could stop it by doing random drug testing in the schools. We could stop it by flooding the market with naloxone. We could stop it by education, but we have to do something. The ball's in your court. Let's do something, not just sit here and listen to us and go back to your offices and get on with the next business. Let's do something now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. And that's why we are here, and that's why we have so many members coming and going to join us. We did pass 18 bills last week. We had members from all over the country, both sides of the aisle, coming together to pass those bills. We did have a bill on naloxone, and it will make it more readily available. And I'm glad that you're here to be part of the education so that we can use the opportunity to educate the American people about it. And I'm certainly glad that all of you families are going to be talking to members of Congress about the urgency of getting this comprehensive package of bills to the president to sign and to make sure that we have the resources.